What's up, guys? Here with another video. In this video, I'll be talking about the NBA, 2022, playoff, so far, right? I mean, have I been watching it? No, and I'll tell you the reason why. But I have to talk fast, because the camera's dying, and I'm just, been lazy, uploading videos, lately and stuff, and charging the camera. That's why the battery's about to die. But anyway. Let me go over the recap of what happened, in the NBA, 2022 playoff. Was it exciting? Was it entertaining? The reason why I don't watch the NBA playoff is because it's been so boring, right? I mean, the league in this era is getting softer and softer, right? I mean, the NBA playoff has been like a lot more competitive, in the past, but now, like teams are getting lazy and we don't see as many talented players as before, And NBA's been having like so many blowouts. So many weird circumstances been happening. It's been like that last year, where the two, not two, but a weak team or chum team, just made like accomplishment like crazy, man. The NBA, I mean the Phoenix Suns, had the weakest NBA, finals of last year, if you remember that. But it's not surprising, like they get knocked out, early, in the second round. No, it's not surprising, Everybody knew, what happened last year, had the easiest NBA, final run. I mean, for both sides, but I think the Bucks had a tougher conference. I mean, that's why they won the finals. So, anyway, you know, this series has not been exciting. I mean, most of the game ends like in 5 or 6, But yeah, I just go over, general, recap, and what happened stuff and starting around the let's say the conference final. I mean semi-conference final, right? Yeah, the round to a playoff. Like, yeah, NBA's been having a lots of blowouts and it's just not exciting. People only excite when it's like a close game and low score and lack in physicality, but okay, I'll explain, like what's going on, maybe, NBA has been changing a lot lately, right? I mean, it's just changing like crazy, So anyway, let me go talk real quick about the Phoenix Suns versus Pelican. Yeah, the Suns are not a lot of people knew, like the Suns are not going to get in the final, that's for sure. And they've been struggling too. I mean, they're just a regular season team. They're the number 1 seed, with a regular season less than 20 losses, and they supposed to sweep Pelican, but the Pelicans are like absolutely like young and they're trash, and the Suns let them have 2 games. Yeah, so I already knew they're not gonna go far. So Phoenix Suns versus Pelican, like, oh my god, the Suns, Chris Paul is like, he's just not a superstar. He's just not the same anymore, and he looks way too low outside. And then we got the Dallas Mavericks versus the, Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz are pretenders. Yeah, Dallas is probably going to win. I know they're going to win like 4-2, pretty even, And then you got the Golden State Warriors versus Denver. Denver's injured. Like, even if they're fully healthy, they're not going to beat the Warriors. No way. And then you got the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Timberwolves. And Timberwolves could have beat the Grizzlies, but yeah, I didn't think that's going to be enough, But the Timberwolves are giving Grizzly, a hard time. So Grizzly took like 4-2. I mean, yeah, the Timberwolves was giving Grizzly some troubles there. So just Patrick Beverly, Anthony Edwards and Karl-Anthony Towns. Yeah, but I knew the Golden State Warriors gonna finish off Denver. But it wasn't a sweep, but it was close to a sweep. 4-1, and the Grizzlies wins like 4-2 versus Timberwolves, and Dallas win like 4-2 versus the Jazz. And then let's go to to the conference final semis. I mean, the Miami Heat versus the Hawks. I know the Heat's gonna beat them regardless. The Hawks are not gonna exit it's a first round exit. And Philadelphia versus Toronto. Toronto's too young, but yeah, Sixers are way too talented. They should beat Toronto. I mean, in 6 games, 4-2. And the Bucks beat the Bulls, I mean, Bucks are defending champs. I mean, the Bulls are just way too young, way too inexperienced, and they just barely got in the playoff. You know, there's just no way they're gonna. It's gonna go 6. This is absolutely no chance. So it's 4-1, and then you know, Boston versus the Nets was a surprise to everybody. That kind of surprised me too because the Boston has been really good. Like they were struggling in the regular season, but they somehow you know like picked at the right time. Like Jason Tatum, like the Celtics defense is insane, man. And they swept the Nets. And the Nets defense is so atrocious, man. Kevin Durant's not the leader. They smoke Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, man, like, godly, like, he's just so terrible. You know, Kevin Durant, you know. And Ben Simmons not playing. Like, the Nets has too many problems. I knew they're not going to get past the Celtic, but Celtic beat them like this bad. I know the Boston's going to advance, but I didn't think it's going to be a sweep. Like, yeah, I can say, you know, the first round was entertaining, you know. Like, there's no sweep except for that series. Steve Nash should get fired immediately. There's no way you should allow this many talent, you know, to beat the Celtic. I don't think that this team doesn't have a chemistry. That's just it, man. You know. Okay, and let's see, anything I gotta talk about? Yeah, but I'm proud of the Raptors. You know, they kind of shocked people. I knew they're gonna get at least, you know, some wins against Philadelphia, but yeah, but they got blown out, you know, to the Sixers, right? I mean, the Bucks, like pretty much every single series, you know, there's just been blowouts, but it's not that bad, you know. I mean, one series has at least like one blowout, which is not too bad. And I will talk about this, you know, the second rounds of the playoff, and then you know the, semifinals, which is the third round. I will talk about it later in this video. So yeah, the Utah Jazz, you know, are. This is why they let the Clippers get out the second round, because Rudy Gobert is garbage, man. He's garbage. Like, he just got cooked. Like, Quinn Snyder, like, let him get cooked. I figure out that they have the pretty much same roster, you know. They have to some change if they want to get better. The Nuggets have to get healthier, you know. And the Timberwolves are, you know, inexperienced, you know. I think next year they're going to be a lot more dangerous. You know, it won't be that surprising. So, I got unfortunate news, you know, for the Bucks. Chris Middleton is out, so you're gonna have trouble, you know, facing the Boston. And I'm not surprised that the Boston beat them, you know, not surprised at all. So yeah, so nothing explained much in the first round, you know. Maybe there was some injuries I didn't pay attention, but injuries is part of, you know, sport, you know, teams can avoid. So okay, let's go over the second round, you know. I say that, you know, like, every single game was a blowout. Like, this is why it's so, like, this is why I don't want to watch it, you know. Why do I have interest in, you know, wasting my time, you know, watching these blowouts and blowouts. Like, the NBA, I think the NBA, you know, is just like too much condensed schedule, you know, playing back to back to back to back to back, and players get tired. And yeah, I see that, you know, the pace changed. The team's been shooting three. They play defense. And, you know, so much, you know, adjustments. I guess this is why, you know, like, everything's becoming weird. And this is why, you know, like, 2022, you know, NBA playoff has been, like, blowouts, like, almost like every game. As a matter of fact, you know, there was a blowout and then, you know, team come back, so. The Phoenix Suns versus the Dallas Mavericks. I picked the Phoenix Suns, you know, to advance the third round, but that didn't happen. They choked Game 7. It's so hilarious. It's so funny that, you know, the Suns did not win a single game at the Mavericks, you know, which caused them, you know, to go into Game 7. And Chris Paul has not been having a good game, you know. The Suns, you know, they just choked, you know. They're pretty. It's pretty upsetting, you know, like how the Suns couldn't, you know, beat the Mavericks. The Mavericks somehow, you know, Mavericks and Suns just can't win, like, on the road for some reason. And then game 7, Mavericks just blew out the Suns, man. Like 50 point, if I wasn't mistaken. But then they only lost by 33, so it doesn't really matter. At this point, it was the biggest blow, worst loss for the Suns. In the game 7. I know Chris Paul has been blowing like a lots of 2-0 leads like 5 times, including some series with the Clippers. But wow, man. Yeah. The Suns, fan base is like so toxic. They talk a lot of smacks and stuff. And yeah, they don't deserve, to be, back to even, the conference, semi-conference final. They don't even deserve it. And then you got the Golden State Warriors versus Grizzlies. I mean, that looks kind of interesting, but yeah, lots of close game, but the Grizzlies were just, firing out gates, against this Warriors mobile team. But I knew the Warriors gonna beat the Grizzlies. Some people even say that the Grizzlies gonna go final, but that's not true. But they're just too young, Yeah, they're too young, Ja Morant gets injured, And even without Ja Morant, they're still a very dangerous team, Game 5 was a huge beatdown, The Warriors totally gave up. And, the Grizzlies just like massacre this team and beat them in a gigantic landslide. Like that was like so embarrassing, But yeah, the Golden State just came back in game 6, by the time you get to like 4th quarter, like they totally shut down the Grizzlies, run them out of their building. I knew if Warriors don't win game 6, they're in trouble. But like I said, it's a young Grizzly, injured team, but you just cannot count this team out. No matter like how much disadvantage you are, if you try, then you're still gonna prevail no matter what. But this team does not want to give up until it's over. So yeah. And I got the Miami Heat versus Philadelphia 76ers. That game there was plenty of blowouts too, And then the Bucks versus Celtic. Lots of blowouts. Unfortunately, the Bucks couldn't beat the Boston Celtic. It was 7 game, but it was very entertaining stuff. Plays by plays. In game 5, like Drew Holiday was underrated. Defending really well. But it's just not enough. The Bucks should have beat the Celtic, but I guess the Celtic just play in their head. They play hard. They have Jason Tatum. They have Al Horford. And lots of bunch of role players. The best Celtics are super dangerous because they've been making a lot of 3, and they have a really, really good chance of being in the finals in the position they're in right now. So the Celtic, put themselves in a very good position, and they're gonna take care of themselves. In game 7, they totally blow out the Bucks out of the water. The Bucks has like no answer, by the time it gets to the 4th quarter. And then the Heat, versus the Philadelphia 76ers. I knew Doc Rivers, is an overrated coach. And a lot of people dislike him. He's a toxic coach. I knew that Miami's gonna, beat the Sixers regardlessly. I mean, they're just so experienced. They went to the finals in 2020. They got Jimmy, Butler, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. That's the team that faced the Lakers in the final and got them to game 6. So I knew they're gonna beat the Sixers. Joel Embiid looks lazy. That's all I have to say. But sorry to offend you Sixer fans who watch this video, but I know you're very offended. But you have to know Joel looks like lazy. Just his body weight and the way he moves and stuff. That's what I heard from Joel Embiid. James Harden, like, oh my gosh, he just reverted to himself. He reverted back to himself. Like, he just never made to the final. Honestly, he was like 1 game away from the finals in 2018, but this guy choked. Yeah, he's just good flopping. He's just a regular season player, but not in the playoff. He's like totally garbage. But he did show up in like game 5, or I forgot. Like, yeah, game 5, game 4, he just showed up. But then, you know, he disappeared, and, you know, and just never, you know, again, you know. Yeah, so do I have other things to say about this, you know, conference final? No, I do not. I mean, yeah, but I think the best series out of those 4, you know, was the Bucks versus, you know, the Celtic, right? So every single series are only like up to 6 games, except for the Suns versus Dallas, which is game 7, and the Suns disappointed everybody. I mean, some people were disappointed, some knew this is gonna come. I thought the Suns are gonna face the Warrior, but that didn't even happen. But now I go, you know, to the semi-con final, and oh boy, like I say, like about 95% of those games, or 9% of those games, are blowout, like 20 or 30 points. Like, NBA, like, why can't you give this player rest? Like, oh, if you make a play back-to-back, they have low management problem. Like, the next game, you know, like a team was up by 20, then the next game, the other team's up by like 20 points. I'm like, what's going on here, man? Are they just like low managing, or are they just playing lazy, or they just don't have enough rest? Whether 3-point not, they either have too many turnover, or getting out rebounds and stuff, you know, or they just, you know, shoot poorly. Many reasons why, you know, blowouts happen now these days. So yeah, I can talk about, you know, the conference, you know, semi-conference final, the Dallas versus, you know, the Golden State Warriors. Now, how's the Warriors versus Dallas? So I know Dallas is so, they're gonna be a very dangerous team, you know, with this type of roster. No more Kristaps Porzingis. They have Dinwiddie, you know. Luka, man, Luka is, he has to be a superstar. Like, I know that this guy is gonna be like, he is gonna be like Kobe or Michael Jordan. He's gonna be so good, man. He has so much personality. But Luka, man, it's like so hard to stop. This is why, you know, they power the Suns, you know. I knew the Golden State Warriors are not gonna sweep the Dallas. I knew it, and I know it, man. I know, like, the Dallas are not gonna get swept. They say nope, 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 and the Warriors beat them in 4-1, right? I mean, the first game was a blowout. Then, you know, the Dallas make adjustment, but still low. Shout out to Jason Kidd, you know, the guy that helped the Lakers, you know, win the, you know, championship 2020. Jason Kidd's a very good coach, and, you know, game 3, you know, I think the Dallas still lost, and then, you know, game 4 they just won. They blew out the Warriors, but then Warriors just, you know, kept the game close, you know. But yeah, like I said, if you're down like 20 or 30 points, you know, in one quarter, like, it's pretty much game over. But I know that 20-point lead is now, you know, like nothing in the NBA. I mean, a 30-point lead, you know, into the fourth quarter, you know, may not be safe, you know, if the team shoots a loss of 3 and if their bench play hard. But yeah, Steph and Clay, you know, and they have Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole. Like, this Golden State Warriors team been to the finals like so many times. They have experience. I know nobody can stop the Warrior right now. Like I said, man, like, if there's nobody else better than the Warrior, then Warrior obviously have a very good chance being in the finals again. Like, it's obviously that you can't where they don't need Kevin Durant. They don't need the super ridiculous team, you know, go to the finals. I know they even won the 2015, you know, finals. You know, they won the championship, but yeah, I get it. Cavs were injured, you know, but injuries part of the thing, you know. And they didn't have KD. They won the championship without KD, you know, Kevin Durant. And yeah, that series already finished, and this series has not finished. But as soon as we have the NBA championship winner, then I'm gonna go over the recap and stuff, right? Maybe I should watch the final, but I think the Celtics will pull this series off. If they don't win Game 6, they're in trouble. They need to win Game 6. And the Celtics has not been losing, you know, back-to-back games. What do you mean back-to-back games? Okay, 2 games in a row. Well, Miami, you know, like, oh boy, like, will that be embarrassing if they lose 3 games in a row? Well, Boston has to take care of business. They need to win Game 6. If they don't win Game 6, then they're pretty much screwed. And the momentum go to Miami, and they're gonna go back to Miami, and they're gonna have a hard time winning. So Celtics, man, if you want to go to the finals, you better win Game 6 now. Like, don't give Miami any more opportunity. And for Miami, you know, if I was a Heat fan, you better tell Jimmy Butler to step up, man. Tell Hero, Bam Adebayo, you know, like, and others, you know, Heat bench player or whoever that is, man. You better step it up. Because, you know, you better be worried because now you're in Boston and Boston can shoot, you know, threes. But I know that lots of Boston, you know, can fall a lot of threes, you know. I know why the Boston also get kind of blown out because, you know, inconsistency, you know, the balls are not shooting and they can make, you know, turnover too. I remember that the Heat blew out the Celtic, you know, one time is because of, you know, the 3 points, you know, because of, you know, 23 turnovers. So, yeah. I know that, you know, if Bucks were fully healthy, like I said, man, if they have Chris Middleton, that was a big difference. But I mean, if I wasn't biased, I picked the Milwaukee Bucks to win the championship is because they have legitimate size. I told you that size and coaching, you know, matters, you know, in NBA. If I don't get it, you know, like why using small ball, you know, wins the championship. Everybody's trying to copycat, like. I know Golden State Warriors are super dangerous, you know. They're small, but even that, they got Kevin Looney, you know. Kevin Looney, you know, is a big guy. Yeah, he's a legit, probably 7-footer, you know. I mean, if you have like a legit big guy and, you know, small ball run-ups, like Golden State Warriors, maybe, but a lot of teams cannot be the Golden State Warriors. So I don't know why they try and copy that and then, you know, like they just fail. I mean, having a big guy, you know, with lots of skill like Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player, you know, in NBA as of right now. No argument about it. This guy is not only tall, but he's very strong. He's hard to stop. He can score like 40 points, you know, in the playoff, you know, per game. He's way better, and he's better than Kevin Durant, and possibly even better than LeBron James right now. So yeah, but unfortunately, I feel sad for him, but. It's a good thing they won last year, you know. Obviously, you know, they faced, you know, like a lots of injury team, but yeah, the Suns weren't injured, but, you know, they weren't the best team out of the West because everyone else was injured, you know. But, congratulations to the Bucks have really good side. They have Brook Lopez, Pat Connaughton, like, they have so many good players, you know. Who else do they have? Like, man, they have too many good players. And yeah, man, either way, man, like that was a very close series, you know. Bucks could have won in 16, but they couldn't close out the last 2 games. They were struggling. And I don't think Boston's gonna, yeah, because the Boston know that if they don't give team opportunity, they know they're gonna be completely fine. But they just have to make sure, you know, like, they don't choke, right? But yeah, I never doubt, you know, Miami Heat. I wouldn't be mad, you know. I just don't care at this point, you know, like who wins the championship, right? So there's still, you know, 3 teams in, but I think Miami Heat are most likely going to be out. I don't see them winning Game 6. But even if they do, then they're going to have a good chance of going back in the finals again. But yeah. And then, you know, the Warriors are right now, you know, in the finals. It's a good thing they finished their series so they can take a break, but you got to get your job done, you know. I think the finals doesn't start until like June 2nd, right? So, yeah, I hate condensed schedule, you know. When you play, you know, too many, you know, games in just a little amount of time, you get injured a lot. That's what's been happening, you know. This is why, you know, this pandemic's been, you know, really, you know, hurting a lot of NBA players. And yeah, I can see like things are going to get better and better as we go forward, you know, but I'm sick of these blowouts. These ridiculous blowouts, man. You know? I feel like if the NBA, you know, stop making, you know, these best schedule, reduce these regular season and stop making condensed schedule, maybe these freaking teams, don't play, lazy or just, rest up for the next game and stuff. It's like, oh, like they're down like 10, 50 points, they like completely give up. But I know teams don't give up, if they're down 30, I see one time a team can come back like 30 points. So don't get me wrong here, man. Maybe this is why, teams start suffering blowouts. It's because of this stupid pandemic, or the way the NBA schedules this. But yeah, you can see my argument, right? But yeah, man. I mean, the Boston Celtics has not been to the finals, like in 12 years. Wow, that's a long time ago. So, in 12 years ago, I just, graduated elementary. So, it's just half of my age so far because I'm turning 24 this year. It's just nuts, man. I really wanted to see the Celtics versus the Lakers, since have happened since 2010. It could happen in 2020, but the Heat was way too much for the Celtics. But now Celtic. But in my heart and in my guess, I really want the Celtic to beat the Miami, just for the sake of revenge, what happened 2 years ago. Well, that would be good, right? I mean, I know that teams get eliminated, like 1 or 2 years ago, but then like next few years, say, hey, I want a revenge. I want to knock you out. So Celtic, you better win Game 6. You better win tonight. Send the Heat a statement. Say, hey, you beat us last time. Now we're gonna beat you this time. And I know that sometimes revenge doesn't work that way, right? I mean, it would be hilarious if the Mavericks beat the Clipper. I know Clipper beat them in 2020, but they still lost the Clipper. In 2021, in the Game 7 series. So, yeah, but I know that Clippers too much, man. But yeah, they might be back, next year, We'll see. But yeah, like I said, they still have to play in tournament stuff, Oh, you want to go to the... So now, the playoffs done, like, why go to play in tournament? I mean, I just do it for the sake of bonus. Not going to waste any much of the time. You can listen like a few more minutes, to this video, before it gets to 3 minutes. So I'm going to talk a little faster, like, how's the playing tournament, right? Should we keep there? I know that if their favorite team, get, eliminated just because of the sake of playing tournament, I disagree with them. I just love it when there's playing tournament, right? I mean, it brings the atmosphere, the team will stop thinking, they'll try and get in the playoff, And the team, that are the fraud 8 seed or 7 seed or team that doesn't deserve to be in the playoff spot, they should get eliminated, because why do they even deserve to be playoff? Because just imagine, you see a weak team in the playoff, like getting blowout like every single game, sweep 4-0. See, if you put a team, that works harder or that were injured, throughout the whole season, if you put them in the 8 seed or in the playoff, that makes it more exciting when you play against, tough team versus tough team. We don't want some weaklings, walking in the playoff, right? Yeah, so Adam Silver did the right thing. I guess that's why so many schedules are condensed, just because of the sake of also, playing tournament, I mean, if there's no playing tournament, the Cavaliers and the Clippers would have been in the playoff. But I know Cavaliers are not a playoff team. I mean, they should be a playoff, but I think at the end of the season, they choked, and Clippers has too many, injuries and stuff. So let's go over the playing tournament. The Timberwolves versus Clipper. Like, Patrick Beverly went like crazy at the end. Oh my god, like Patrick Beverly, act as he won the championship. See, this is why I don't like, cocky teams, act as they won the championship, but they never had. They just entered the playoff. Patrick Beverly, man. And then the Clipper versus Pelican, like Clipper choked 2 games, so they deserve to be out, Pelicans won, and then, let's go over, to the, East Coast. Was it the Atlanta Hawks, versus something? Nicely, the Hornet. But yeah, I know that the Hawks eliminated, the Hornet. I overheard that LaMelo's overrated, you know. So Hornets gonna play into Hornet, and unfortunately, you know, exit. And I forgot, you know, who were. And then yeah, they have the Nets, you know. Forgot versus Cavalier. Yeah, the Nets obviously prevailed. They can take care of the Cavaliers. And then the Cavs versus the Hawks. I picked the Hawks. Trae Young, you know, is very good. He's my age, you know. Got over the Cavaliers, you know, but yeah, I really want to see the Cavaliers, you know, next year too. You know, wonder what they're gonna do. I mean, a lot of teams are, you know, pretty interesting, you know. If I think optimistic, you know, but they all have a bright future, you know. But yes, you know. But thank God, you know, thank God it's almost over. We got rid of all these pretender teams, right? And now you only see, you know, the real team that shows up, right? If I have a bet, I think the Warriors will have the best chance of winning. But if the Bucks in the final, Bucks probably win. But I don't think they'll beat the Warriors that easily. I think the Warriors can. I won't be surprised if the Warriors also beat the Bucks, just because, you know, they're super experienced and they are a super stacked team. They can be dangerous without Kevin Durant. Sometimes they can play even better too. And they win 73 of 9. Like, Golden State have a bright future, you know. Like, they just keep getting like good team after good team after good team. You just cannot, you can never sleep on Golden State Warrior, right? You can never sleep on them. And I already knew this is gonna happen, right? Somebody just told me, but now I believe it, you know? Right? So yeah, I'm picking the Golden State to win the championship. So yeah, I didn't make a prediction, you know, there's no need, you know. I just let it, you know, just, you know, lots of unpredictable playoffs, so it's been fun, you know. It's been really, really, you know, fun. And can't wait, you know, what next year's gonna look like. But if I keep seeing blogs, then I'm probably not gonna be, you know, too interested. But anyway, I have to end off here, and thank you for listening, and bye.